Welcome to Mask Off with Meek. I'm so excited to be here. I missed you guys so much on last week. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers as we did experience a tragic loss in my family. So last week I did not post and share. I wanted to be able to take that time to grieve privately. So thank you for your prayers. Continue to keep my family in your thoughts and prayers because we understand that the healing process starts now. And so we need your prayers. So tonight we're going to be talking about life after divorce part 2. Okay. Last time I shared with you just the backstory of how I met my ex and all of that. So if you want to go back and watch part 1, you can get caught up on the whole love story and how that went down. And then just some pointers that I used for that episode. This episode, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into some of the things that I mentioned the last time and then just kind of add to. All right. So please bear with me. We're going to get through this together. So the first thing I want to say is life after divorce. I want you to understand that it's not a punishment. Because something did not work doesn't mean it wasn't meant to be. It means at some point you stopped trying. At some point you got comfortable, right? And we just assume that people will always be there. We assume that, people are going to continue to go through these unhealthy cycles. And at some point someone gives in. They throw in that towel and they say, I'm done. I can't do this. And in my case, I chose me. I had to choose me. Not just for me, but for my children. So sometimes people don't understand that you have to choose your peace. You have to choose your sanity over everything. You can love somebody, but you shouldn't love somebody so much that it's hurting you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You have to get to a point where you say, all right, now I'm going to have to consult God and what he needs me to do, what he wants me to do. Because I know that this is not healthy. I know this is not what he desires for me. I know that, I want to be happy. I want him to be happy, or vice versa. I want her to be happy and things like that. So it's also taking accountability. Taking accountability for the things that you didn't do, the things you could have did, should have did, right? But also understanding that shoulda, coulda, wouldas is irrelevant at this point. Letting go of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Because if you didn't do it then it's too late now. And I'm not saying that things cannot be restored. In some cases, people remarry, right? But if there is a divorce, and especially if it was an ugly divorce, it's not even a possibility for things to come back around. But prayer changes things. Anything can happen. I do not put limitations on what God can do. So I think it's important to definitely take the time to get to know yourself. That's one of the top things I want to say is I feel like a lot of times people just jump from one relationship to the next, or one bed to the next, because they're trying to fill in a void. They feel like they can't be by themselves, especially men. No shade towards men, but I hear it more with men that they don't want to be alone. They can't even fathom being alone. So they find themselves jumping pretty quickly, right? I can't say it's a right or wrong thing, but what I will say, I think I am glad that I took my time. I am, because, divorce is like death. You grieve your marriage. You grieve what was, right? Because that thing is dead. It's gone. It's not happening. It's over with. And you have to take the time to grieve it and process what happened. What happened? And you want to make sure that you're not bringing this unhealed version of yourself to someone else. Dragging baggages around, right? As Erykah Badu say, bag lady. You need to pack light. So let's pack light. Let's let go of some things, unforgiveness, bitterness, all those things that's tied to a divorce. Go through that. Don't deny yourself your healing process. Running around, drinking, partying, sleeping with multiple people, traveling, all those things are cool if that's what you choose to do. However, that's just band-aiding the trauma, the pain that you feel from your divorce. You need to sit in that stuff. You need to sit in that and process what happened. You need to forgive yourself. And then you need to be able to forgive him or her. Because you may or may not ever get that apology that you want or you feel that you deserve. You may or may not get that. And you have to be okay with moving on without that apology. But the biggest thing is taking accountability for your part, your contribution to why your divorce ended. Okay, that's so important. Being honest with yourself. I want to say self-care. I can't preach self-care enough. Finding a new routine of things that you like to do, taking on a new challenge, things like that. Pouring into your spirit, because your spirit is empty after a divorce. You don't even know who you are, what you can't. Sometimes you don't know if you're coming or going, because you have so many emotions going through your mind, especially when you have children and you still have to be mommy. You still got to take the boys to football practice, take her to gymnastics, and you still got to work, and you're probably working some overtime, if not picking up a second job, because you've lost the extra income. So it's important to be able to, hey, I'm going to designate this time to myself, whether it's reading a book, whether it's taking a jog, committing to, walking or jogging Monday through Thursday or whatever. Or, hey, I'm going to do brunch with my girlfriends on Sunday. I'm going to church on Sundays. I'm going to join the choir. I'm going to do dancing. I'm going to do something to keep my mind occupied, but it's also pouring back into myself and building my esteem up, because building your esteem doesn't mean that you're insecure, but you need to rebuild yourself, because you're vulnerable, you're torn down, you're hurt, and so you need to be able to build yourself and restore yourself, recharge yourself, so that you have enough strength to go on for yourself, go on for your children, and then later on, when the time is appropriate, you can meet someone else and be able to go into that free, go into that not carrying your baggage from your past, okay? Because that's not fair to that person to have to deal with your ex and what he did to you, and then you're bringing that over to the new relationship. That's not fair, and it's not going to work, okay? So let's focus on self-care, forgiveness. Like I said, letting go of things that you will always remember. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you forgot, but it does mean that you're going to move forward from that. You're saying, I acknowledge that this happened. I'm not excusing your bad behavior, but I acknowledge that, hey, I may not get that apology that I deserve. But I'm okay with it. I've made peace with myself, because I know I was a good woman to you, or I know that I was a good man to you. I was faithful to you. I stayed true to my vows, my commitment to God, my commitment to you, right? Forgiving people that hurt you. Sometimes people hurt you, don't even realize they hurt you. And it's okay to have those conversations. You can go to that person and say, hey, you hurt me. When you chose a side, when you were speaking on my divorce, my marriage, and not ever asking me how I was doing or what my version of what happened, hey, that hurt me, because I thought you loved me. I thought you trusted me. I thought I could trust you, right? With information I told you in private, I'm learning you shared this with your girlfriends, and this is now tea to you guys, but this is my life. This happened to me, right? So forgiveness is going to be big. And sometimes we think holding on to unforgiveness hurts the other person, but when truly it only hurts us. It only keeps us in bondage, because while that person's sleeping good at night, snoring and farting and doing whatever they do, you sit up rolling and tossing and turning, pissed off and mad about something that happened 10 years ago. That person don't even know what they did, At that point, they moved on with their life. So free yourself by forgiving yourself for the things you did not do, should have did, or whatever, but also forgiving other people. So self-love is important. That kind of goes self-love, self-care goes hand in hand. You want to make sure you're loving on yourself. I'm not going to expect somebody to come in and love me more than I love me. I love me some me, okay? I'm not saying it to be bragging or thinking I'm more than what I am, but I have to love myself. It's unfair to think someone's going to come in and love you more than you love you. Expect someone to come and bring you peace that you can't even provide for yourself. You got to know how to do all those things. When someone else comes into your life, that should just be an added bonus to what you already can provide for yourself. I'm not going to expect a man to make 6 figures and I'm barely pushing 24,000 a year. That's unrealistic, right? So you have to be able to provide for yourself what you expect other people to do for you. So it's self-care, self-love. Those two kind of goes hand in hand. Having gratitude. Although you're divorced, you're still hopeful that one day you will find love again, right? Being grateful that you still have a roof over your head. You may go to bed and yes, you may be lonely. But being able to walk in your home and you don't hear no screaming and yelling, cussing and fussing is amazing. And you cannot pay for that type of peace. There's so many people that are in relationships and marriages that they don't have any peace in their home. So I often think about that when I walk into my home. Yes, it's quiet because I went from a household of 5 to 1. But to be able to walk in here and things are in the place where I left them, I love it. To be able to crawl in my bed and I can do somersaults or whatever I want to do in that bed. It's just me, and it's amazing. Would I love to have a husband? Yes. Will I have a husband? Yes. But right now, I've embraced this moment. Because you have to think, I was with my ex-husband since I was like 17, 18 years old. I never been by myself. Literally. I went from my mom's home to college with him. And we've been living together ever since. So yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's different. But have I got used to it? Absolutely. And there is nothing like peace. Nothing like peace. So having the spirit of gratitude, even when you want to complain, even when you feel how you feel, it's okay to feel how you feel. Cry. Do whatever you need to do. But at the end of the day, be grateful. Be grateful that you're not in an abusive relationship anymore. Be grateful that your kids don't have to deal with this toxic energy in your home anymore. Right? You don't have to pretend that you're happy to other people and you're miserable. You don't want to have to do that. You want to be able to smile and it be real. You want to be able to go out and people see that there's a glow about her. Man, she's living her best life. And it's not for social media purposes. I'm genuinely happy in real life, right? So be grateful. Have a spirit of gratitude. Simplifying our life, right? Getting rid of toxic things, toxic attachments. Getting rid of, clutter and things like that, like I spoke about before. Decluttering and getting rid of those things that was sentimental then, but you don't necessarily need to see that anymore. It's okay to get rid of some pictures. It's okay to get rid of some clothing and get you a new wardrobe. It's okay. So that is a big piece, and it sounds silly, but it really is important when you are experiencing life after divorce to be able to simplify your life. I enjoy the simple things more than anything. When people ask me, what do you like to do? Or, do you like flowers? What do you like? I said, honey, I'm so simple. I'm so simple. And I always have. I've always been simple because my parents have always demonstrated how you can enjoy each other's company on a minimum budget. And you can do things, When I think about my childhood, I think about my dad taking us to go get ice cream. Those are our fondest memories. Ice cream was cheap, especially then. But we took vacations and stuff like that. That was cool. I enjoyed that. But my fondest memories is the simple things. Riding in the country with the windows down. Eating ice cream cone. you know, going to the little carnivals and things like that. Those are my fondest memories. So simplifying things, you know, it's cool to do trips and do all that stuff, but you know, can you be my peace? Can you add to my peace? Can you be creative? Can you be intentional? And most important, can you be consistent? Don't introduce me to something that you can't maintain. So just simplifying your life, setting boundaries. I talked about that before. Setting boundaries for yourself. If you know you want to be celibate, then you know what? You don't need to be having company at 10 o'clock at night. Because we know what, you know, after dark, what can happen. You know, so setting boundaries for people, letting them know right off, hey, ain't no hanky-panky going on here. You know, this is, if you want to go meet me at a restaurant, then we can meet there, because you have to know yourself. You know what you like. You know what do the trick for you. So if you're trying to avoid that, you have to set boundaries for yourself and other people. Setting boundaries for your children when it comes to your ex, co-parenting. You have to have boundaries, because children will manipulate you. They will manipulate him or her. So we have to set boundaries for our children. Setting boundaries for other people, you know, family, they need to know their place in this new norm, right? After divorce, they have to know their place as well. Being mindful in communication. It's important to be able to co-parent if you have children, right? You can't do that without proper communication. We have to be in mature communication, not being difficult on purpose, working with each other. Yes, you may have a divorce decree, but hey, you may have to tweak it sometimes. Hey, I forgot, I gotta work overtime. Can you work with me? Can we switch weekends this weekend? Not being difficult. If you can work with that woman or work with that man, do it. Because at this point, it's about the children, right? It's about the children. So communicating properly with the ex so you can co-parent together. Who's picking up, who's dropping off. You know, when you start bringing other people into the fold, girlfriend, boyfriends, new spouses, all those types of things, communicating. Making sure that all the adults are on the same page is going to be super important. Making sure you don't bash your children, bash your ex in front of your children. Or really just in general, I think it's tacky to get on social media and bash your ex, because you're making yourself look crazy. Because at some point you was with that person, at some point you were happy. So getting on social media and talking about your ex and trying to make them look like they didn't love you properly, you never knew what love was until now, and all those types of things that people do and try to embarrass and demean and all that stuff. It's not worth it, right? Let people think what they want to think. Not feeling the need to go and try to justify or tell your version of the story. Allow people to think what they want to think. They're going to do it anyway. So don't go chasing lies. You know, if you can't keep people from saying what they're going to say. But what I will say is, when it comes to the children with the bashing, making sure you don't do that, because they're going to get older and they're going to be able to tell who is the problem. They don't need your help to tell them. Let them find out for themselves. You don't have to tell them, oh, he a deadbeat, and They're going to figure it out whenever he don't come pick them up. Or if mommy promised to do this and she never comes through, they're going to be able to see who is the problem. So don't focus on trying to get the children to side or get other people to side. Keeping people out your business is going to be important, because you don't want the influence of other people to affect your relationship, because you still have children, you still have to co-parent, right? If you don't have children, it's very simple for you. You don't ever have to talk to that person again, really, right? But I'm only speaking for co-parenting people that have to deal with their ex, and it's not an easy thing. You know, the divorce part is over, but they still have to be involved. And so communication is going to be super important. And understanding that you have to let go. You have to let go. You have to just accept the apology that you may or may not ever get. Sometimes it's years down the road when people realize that, hey, I messed up a good thing. you know. They may not ever admit it. And that's why I say it's important not to bash, because you never know what God can do. He maybe can restore a marriage, but you've got out there, you've talked about this person so bad to everybody that will listen to you on social media, on your jobs, at your church, your family, your friends, the cat and the dog. Then when you had an opportunity, you could have fixed it. You're too prideful to do it at this point. You couldn't come home if you wanted to. Why? Because you did this. You put this out there. You created this image of this other person that was not true. Or it could be some twisted truth. It could be some truth behind some of the things you were saying, but you exaggerated it to make yourself look good in that particular moment. So it's important to not do that, because you just don't know what God can do and what time can do. When people, mature, they take accountability, right? And they're able to move forward, and they realize, man, I miss my husband. Oh, I miss my wife. I miss my family. I want my family back. Right? So be careful with the energy and the things that you put out there. Because once it's out there, it's out there. And I don't care if you go delete it. Somebody's already screenshotted it. They've already put it in the group chat. They've already put it in their library, in their phone, and they're saving that. So words do hurt. And we don't want to be saying things that we cannot take back, right? Engage in activities, like I said, that self-care, going out, doing different things, getting involved in ministry at church, getting out, meeting new people, going on dates, right? And not being in a hurry to jump in an exclusive relationship, but taking the time to date multiple people. Because dating does not mean that you're sleeping with everybody. I think that's, a lot of times people get that confused when they say, are you dating? Yes, I'm dating. Oh, okay, you dating one person? No, I'm dating multiple people. How are you dating multiple people? Because you need to figure out what it is that you like, right? I don't want to build a man. I want someone that's already built and ready to love me the way I deserve to be loved once. So with that being said, hey, this person, when you're dating multiple people, it gives you an opportunity to be able to figure out some things. Like there may be some things that you have never been introduced to, that now this person has introduced you to a whole nother side of you that you never knew existed. You're like, oh, wow, I like that. I want more of that. Or, oh, no, I'll never do that again. So with that comes experience. You're learning your do's and your don'ts, right? And that's kind of help building your new identity. So, it's important to, engage, and date and things like that, not be in a hurry. Slowing down, taking the time to be present in the moment. Like I said, with the counseling, you need counseling for yourself. You need counseling for your children. Even if they say they're good, do not trust that they're good because they said they're good. Even when they're teenagers, even when they're adults. If we know how we feel we're going through this life after divorce, you can only imagine that their little minds are confused. They're trying to figure things out. They've heard a lot of hurtful things. They saw a lot of scary things, right, in their home. And so it's a process for them. And so slowing down long enough to do the things like self-care, counseling, right? Making sure you're spending quality time with your children, because they're used to having a household with a mommy and daddy. Now it's just daddy. Or now it's just mommy, or there's a stepmom or dad involved. So taking the time, slowing down to be able to embrace the moment, appreciate the simple things like taking your kids to football practice, taking your daughter to ballerina, gymnastics and things like that. It's important to be able to slow down and be able to embrace the moment, right? Letting go of unhealthy attachments and memories. Letting those things go. Making sure you have the right people on your team. Can I be able to trust you with my heart? Can I be vulnerable with you and tell you how I really feel? What I'm really going through? Because it's a lot. It's a lot, especially when things are complicated and you're not getting along, and it's a lot of back and forth, and things like that. The kids are crying, they're confused, they want to stay with daddy or they want to stay with mommy, and it can be very, very difficult. But I will say, divorce is not a punishment. There is life after divorce. You can find your peace. You can find your happiness. All of that in you. It starts with you, right? Happiness, peace, love, contentment. It's all within you. Letting go of the past so you can move on to your future. Singleness is not a disease, it's a choice. A lot of us are single not because we can't find nobody. It's not because something's wrong with us. It's because we know what we want. We are not settling. We're willing to be lonely and by ourselves than settle for something that is no good for us, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, any of those things, right? We are taking the time to deal and go through our trash, our baggage, which I talked about before, identifying our trash, going through and seeing these different things that we need to work on ourselves to fix ourselves so we can be a better version of ourselves, taking off our mask. You know, after divorce, that's a perfect opportunity to redefine your identity. Take off that mask, girl. You don't have to pretend to be happy anymore. Go work on being happy in real life, not just on social media, right? So I want to encourage those that are going through divorce, that are divorced, to hang in there. Your life is not over. You're not doomed. You will have another chance at love if you choose to. Some people don't even want that. They're like, I'll never do that crap again. I am single for the rest of my life. And that's okay, whatever floats your boat. But for those that do desire relationship, for those that do desire marriage, there is life after divorce. And I want to encourage you to stay in the fight, to continue to work on yourself and your identity, right? Staying in the fight of life, not giving up on love, knowing that love, everybody deserves love. And there's love out there for you. And you just have to position yourself to be found, right? Not being desperate, but positioning yourself to be found. Staying prayerful. Pray for yourself. Pray for the partner that you desire. I pray for my husband all the time, and I don't even know who he is. But I'm praying, God, cover my husband. Give him the desires of your heart so he can know how to find me. When he finds me, he's healed. Lord, whatever he's going through right now, I don't know what it is. But Lord, help him through those hard times. You know, speaking words of affirmation over yourself. You know, fixing yourself up, getting out the bed, fixing your hair, going out, doing different things that bring you peace, that bring you happiness. Okay? So thank you for joining Mask Off with me tonight. I appreciate your time and your comments and your feedback. I look forward to connecting with you next week. And like I tell you all the time, let's glow and grow together. Have a good night.